every sickness and plague that's not written in here, I'm going to bring upon you for not keeping my commandments.
That's right.
It's a direct clause. So some of the sins that our people do have direct sicknesses to them, right? Smoking, you got lung cancer, cancer, people get holes in their throat, all that type of stuff.
I wish I'd never seen a cigarette in my entire life. I truly do. I wish I'd never ever seen one.
Christ is a black man according to the Bible, right? On that sign to your left. You see that sign? See those pictures? Let me start over here. Okay, oh, that is your mother right there, so you do understand. So these things aren't common to our people in general, right? This image of Christ, we're not saying this is Christ, but we're saying this is a better depiction of what Christ looks like.
Right.
Right? So I'm asking you some questions. Who go to church? Raise your hand. You go to church? You go to church? You go to church, really? Once or twice in your life. Got it. So what day you go to church on?
I go to church on
What day do you go to church on?
Sundays.
Sundays. Is that a part of the Bible? Is that biblical?
No, it's not.
Okay, so we're going to help you out real quick. Get Exodus 20 and 8. So the reason why I asked you that question is, on this sign right here that the brother was talking about, that the reason why we are above all people, that means we get treated differently when we don't keep God's commandments.
That's right.
So since we didn't keep God's commandments, we went through cargo slave ships. We went through here. We got beat on our backs. Slave master picked cotton, right? Mm-hmm. What day did they tell us to keep to go to church on?
Bring it up.
Sunday. You know why they say Sunday? It was the only day that they felt that it was for good for you to have a break. But they understood who you are already. They know you the Israelites, right? Get Judith 5 and 20 real quick. I'll show you. I'm going to show you that the people that had us in slavery knew who we were already before we came over here.
This is the book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor.
So this man was talking to the governor during the Assyrian captivity. He was talking to him saying, hey, who are those people that live in the hills? We were the people that live in the hills, right? So the government at the time was asking who we were and where did we come from, what we do. Read.
If there be any error in this people and they sin against their God.
So his advisors telling him, hey, if those Israelites sin against their God, then God's not going to protect them. But if they keep God's commandments, do not mess with them at all, because God's going to defend them. Because you know about Egypt, right? You know Egypt, the 10 plagues? That is God defending us, right? This is when we live in sin and God doesn't deal with us. Right. You see what I'm saying? And when this happens, they switch everything all over again. Read.
If there be any error in this people and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
Are we ruined as a people? We are. Want to know why? Because from this to this, the only difference is how it looks. Because the way we were destroyed here is the same way we still destroyed now.
Right.
Want to know why? Because at church, they tell you, hey, come on Sunday. Yeah. But the Bible say what in Exodus 20 and 8? It says it's on Saturday, right? Do the pastors at your church decide to change their day of worship? They don't, right? Read.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day.
It said, remember the Sabbath day. Why? Because people going to start keeping the Sabbath on Sunday, right? Is keeping the Sabbath the 10 Commandments? No. It is the 10 Commandments. It's a part of the 10 Commandments. In Exodus 20, he's going through the 10 Commandments with Moses. So churches say all the time, keep the 10 Commandments, right? The Sabbath's a part of that.
Right.
So why they never tell you that? But it's part of the 10 Commandments. You see the issue? You see the problem? Read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So 6 days shall you labor from Sunday to Friday sundown, because the way the days work, the way the days work with God is from sundown to sundown is a day. So when the sun goes down tonight, the day has started. It doesn't start at midnight. So it's sundown to sundown. So from Sunday to Friday sundown, you do all the work you want. You can work 6 days. Read.
But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work.
So one of the ways to keep the Sabbath holy is not doing any work on the Sabbath. That's one way to do it. Another thing is you can't buy or sell. You can't buy or sell anything on Sabbath. So from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, you can't work, you can't buy or sell, you can't cook, and you have to congregate with like-minded people, not just random people. Because does the church enforce keeping God's commandments? No, it would not be a cult if they enforced it. A cult is when you enforce something that is false and you scare tactics, meaning Christianity is a cult. Meaning this. They say the Bible says one thing, right? But when you read it for yourself, it don't say that. But do they push that understanding of Christianity to everybody else? Like the world pushes that Jesus Christ is white. The Bible says Jesus Christ is black.
Right.
So if you still follow the false teaching of something, are you in a cult? If you still believe a lie, are you in a cult? To believe a lie is a form of insanity. You're not mentally there. If somebody said, if she took something from you, right? And somebody said, hey, she stole your shoes from you, and then you found out that she never stole your shoes, but you still said that she stole your shoes, something's wrong with you. You can't steal. You can't steal. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand.
Right. So, thou shalt not steal, kill, etc., etc. So if you were to follow those things, knowing that it's wrong, and you let those things slide, you are there pushing a cult mentality or a slave mentality, because you know that you're not supposed to do those things. Like, for example, this. What you got? Get Nehemiah 10 real quick. I'm going to show you. No problem. So these are man-made religions, right? The Baptists, the Methodists, the Mormons, the Evangelists, etc., Pentecost, all these things. You see the dates when they were made? 1901. Jehovah's Witness, 1872. Adventists, Mormon. What do you notice about all these men? What's different about them?
They're white.
They're all white, right? Now look at these dates. What do you see about these dates? What's interesting about these dates?
About
We was in slavery.
Right.
About 3 of them happened in the 18th century,
Mm-hmm.
and 1 of them happens in the 16th.
During the 18th century, we was in slavery, though.
Yes.
So how would these religions be for us? Like this one right here. This one promotes smoking. Yeah, Corinthians.
Funny.
This one, the Rastafarians get closer to God, smoke, all those things. Is it a sin to smoke? Get that in
So some
1
people
Corinthians.
it is, but
Yes,
to some
it is.
people it is.
It's a sin to smoke.
Made me feel like y'all coming for me.
We're not. Let me slide by you. We're not coming for you. We're here to help you. Listen. We're here to help you. Everything we do while we're out here is not to attack our people. It's to help our people, right? Because remember, the reason why this happened is because of what? We didn't keep what? The commandments. So if we come to a place and we see all our people not keeping the commandments, and we're trying to change this situation, what should we be doing? We should be teaching our people the commandments, right? Now, once we teach you and tell you, your decisions are in your hands. We can't force you to do anything.
Right.
You understand?
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 13. Wherefore the Lord saith, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
You are the temple of God, right? The Spirit is supposed to dwell within you. So when you commit sin, you're going against God, right? That's why God didn't defend us, and that's why we went into slavery. Because we weren't treating ourselves that way prior to that. We didn't go into slavery and sin. No, we sinned before we're free. God judged us and then went to slavery. You understand? It's like punishing your kid. You see what I'm saying? It's the same exact thing. Read.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you?
So the Spirit of God is supposed to dwell in us, but the only way that can happen is if we change our spirits, because the laws are spiritual, right? When we don't keep the laws, we are a worse version of ourselves.
Right.
When you keep the laws, you slowly become the real version of yourself, where God can actually deal with you, right? Read.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
What?
Him shall God destroy.
God will kill us or give us sickness and plagues during 28:61, like lung cancer, right? Is lung cancer in the Bible? Is cancer in the Bible? Is COVID, all these other diseases are in the Bible? Not by name, but it's in here. Watch this, read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
So everything that's I just named, not physically in the book. You will never read COVID. You will never read lung cancer, cancer, none of that. But God said every sickness and plague that's not written in here, I'm going to bring upon you for not keeping my commandments.
That's right. He doing it.
It's a direct clause. So some of the sins that our people do have direct sicknesses to them, right? Smoking, you got lung cancer, cancer, people get holes in their throat, all that type of stuff.
I wish I'd never seen a cigarette in my entire life. I truly do. I wish I'd never ever seen one.
Are people that don't marry their women, just sleep around, just sleeping left and right, boys sleep with girls, girls are sleeping with every man. STDs are not per se, AIDS not written in the Bible, but he just said everything that's not written is going to happen, right? So for sins there's judgment or deaths for our actions, right? So don't you think it's important for our pastors and our leaders to tell us that?
It's important.
You should feel a way that the fact that these random brothers you just seen for the first time is saying, hey, sis, you ever read this in the Bible before? It's like, no, you go to church? Yes. And your pastor, the guy who went to school for this, the guy that you're giving money to, the guy that you go to every Sunday putting trust in him, is not telling you what you need to do to fix yourself.
Right.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 22 and verse 26. Her priests have violated my law and have profaned mine holy things.
He said the priests, the current leaders that teach the Bible, right? They said he have profaned the law, meaning that, number one, they don't keep it or they promote our people breaking it, right? Because they break the laws, right? They don't push our people to keep the commandments, right? So, for example, how long have you been smoking?
For a long while.
So I said for a long time.
How long?
Since you were young, like young.
I was young.
How long have you been going to church?
I've been going to church all my life.
So for all your life, you've been smoking for a long time. You've been going to church for all your life, and your pastor never told you there was a judgment for smoking. And who all smokes? Anybody out here in the earshot of my voice, who smoke? Sisters over there, do y'all smoke? Y'all smoke? That's 5 sisters. Now, do y'all understand that God has a judgment and we shouldn't smoke? We got you. Watch this. Read 1 Corinthians again. Let's listen real quick. Don't leave. Don't run inside the house. Wait. Read.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3 and verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
So what we brought to the sister earlier is that you are the temple of God. Our people are the temple of God. We are God's chosen people, right?
That's right.
Read.
And that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you.
The Spirit of God dwells in us and it wants to dwell in us. But when we break God's commandments, God can't use us. You understand? Read.
If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
So when you defile your temple or break God's commandments, smoking is one way, right? If you just sleep around with women, don't marry no woman, just transfer diseases, violence, all these things, God said he's going to destroy you. He can't deal with you. But say it again. It's a general statement. Is this a general statement? No, go ahead. Go ahead, say what you're saying. Okay, read.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord bring upon thee until thou be destroyed.
So even everything that's not covered like let's bring sister out. Lung cancer, STDs, AIDS are not written in the Bible, but God says when you break the commandments, all the diseases that's not written in the Bible, he will use to judge you. Right, that's basically what I'm saying, right? So that's you're right. So that's the importance of why we come out here, right? I got another one for you. Read.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 6 and verse 23. For the wages of sin is death.
So the wages of sin is death. Remember, our people go to churches. Our people put faith inside pastors and leaders. Black leaders like, we ain't got no black leaders now, but women, Al Sharpton is like a make-believe kind of somewhat leader, right? They never pushed, hey, don't just sleep around. Because you're 17, right? Girls be looking at you looking at girls. You have sex?
Private on tap.
Okay. Yeah, ass.
Private on tap now.
So that's good. See, you want to promote that. Like he was like, you have sex. That's good. Wanna know why? Because let's say he had sex with the wrong girl at a young age. She get pregnant, and now he got to take care of a kid at 17.
Bring it up.
Read. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 22 and verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her.
So we said if a man betrothed or entice a maid, meaning if a man go spit game to a girl, basically. In layman's term, in simple terms, he's just saying if a man goes talk to a girl, woos her, says her all the right things, and does what?
If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife.
So if he ends up sleeping with her, says all the right things, and has sex with her, he is supposed to make her his wife. But that doesn't happen here.
No.
That doesn't happen in our communities, right? They didn't teach you, because he's 17, right? You only couple more years before he had to be out on his own, right? How old are you? 15. You got like 5 more years, right? When she grow up, she needs to know what type of man that's supposed to talk to her, right? When she gets older, because you said that's your granddaughter, right? As the grandmother, you're supposed to teach her, hey, look out for this, don't do this, dress like this, carry yourself this way. The elders and our parents should be teaching us how to raise our kids, or supposed to be guiding their kids.
That's
Read.
right.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 6 and verse 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him.
So I say, if you get a friend, prove them. That's not even talking about man-woman relationships. That's talking about just in general. If you meet somebody for the first time, it says, don't be hasty to credit. Prove that person, right?
Right.
Don't give, for example, if somebody you just met was like, I need $300 for something, and you just met him like a couple days ago, would you give him $300?
I would.
Why?
Because they need it. I would feel bad.
But you don't know them. You don't know them for 2 days.
I still get it.
I got you. Watch this. Get it to Rock 12. So things like this, because you know why? That mentality is from slavery.
Right.
I just help people because they need help. People feel like they owed help. That's gonna end up biting us. It's gonna do us wrong in the end. You understand?
It's hard not to do.
It's very easy not to help somebody that you don't know. Watch, read.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it.
So if you do good to somebody, know who you doing good to, right?
Right.
So it may be a couple days. You say, I need $200. Here you go. Well, I'm a crackhead. I didn't tell you that part. I'm just a functioning crackhead. You never knew that. And now where the $200 went? Gone, right? Read.
So thou shalt be thanked for thy benefit.
It said, know who you do it to so you be thanked for your benefit, meaning you know exactly where it's going to, and the person that you help knows how to reciprocate the same action, right? Read.
Do good to the godly man.
Do what?
Do good to the godly man.
To a man that's keeping the commandments, that's who you want to do good to, because you know them. But this also is going to what we read, say, prove a friend, right? You know who this person is. You don't just know somebody keeping the commandments because you met them once or twice. That's from you being around them, seeing them multiple times for months, like years. You get to know these people, right? We all know each other out here. I know him, he knows me. We all know each other. We know each other's families, right? Know each other's kids, right? So we know if somebody need help, who we helping. We know he's not gonna spend the money on some drugs. We know he's not gonna go to the strip club and spend $400, $500. We know all these things, but our people don't see stuff that way. That's why people get duped. That's why people get hustled. That's why people get scammed.
Right.
You understand? Read.
Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, if not from him, yet from the Most High.
So if the man can't pay you back, God will pay you back.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, His word.